How's everybody doing today? It's Kev the Barber with another classic, and welcome back to another special, right into the meat and potatoes. So I was going on my YouTube, as I sometimes do, and I went to my most viewed video. For those of you who don't know, I'm sure all of you know, my most viewed video is the one called, let's see if I get this right, Necessary Tools for Beginner Barbers. Is that what it's called? Waiting for it to load. Necessary Tools for Beginner Barbers, where I'm sitting in this very chair right here talking to you guys with a slightly different voice, of course.
What's going on, everybody? This is Kev the Barber with another classic, and today we're going to talk about the things you must need as a beginner barber.
What I find interesting, not is the video. I think the video is really good and it helped a lot of people apparently. 241,000 views. That's crazy. Still haven't hit my first million. Gotta do that. Gotta do that. We aiming for that. But what intrigues me more than the most viewed video is probably the most liked comment. It says the following: do a video about fading techniques and how to hold the clipper and what flush means. It's gonna be a hit. Barbers don't talk about this subject too much. This is a year ago. You know what my response was? If you get 10 likes on this comment, I'll do it faster than you can say Kyrie winning a championship this year. He got 154. And what's even funnier is the responses to those comments. He got 10 likes. He got 55 likes. Sorry he didn't, LOL. Not without Braun. I'ma like this comment though, because I would love to see that video. Still didn't do it, Cap. What is flush in barbering terms? Okay, so what I'm gonna do in this video is explain what flush means and how to hold the clipper properly and how you do that so you don't mess up your arm for a long time, which is essentially the most effective way to do that. Fading techniques, I'll probably do in another video this week. So I'm sorry it took so long on this video, but it's better late than never, you feel me? First and foremost, what we start with. You're just gonna start with the hand positioning. I think for anybody who's played sports or anybody who lift weights or anything, you have to know that neutral or natural positioning is fully what you need to do in order to support longevity. Anything that's awkward, anything that feels wrong is wrong. It's a mannequin I got from school. I went to Parisian and Paul Mitchell School. For those who are not familiar with my vlogs, I have a good, we just hit 40 vlogs the other day. So, this is smelling interesting. One thing I forgot to mention, right? All these arm positions and stuff don't matter unless you know where the head is supposed to be in relation to your body. First of all, this haircut, I don't remember it looking this crazy. We gonna fix this. We gonna fix this up because this look a little crazy. All right, so now if I was in a classroom, I'd be like, now what is wrong with this head positioning here? Right? Okay, so let me show you the importance of a barber chair real quick. So I know a lot of you guys don't have a barber chair. You might be cutting out of a lawn chair in a garage or on a toilet or somewhere at home, for those of you who are not in a barber shop. But for those of you who do have this flexibility, I think it's important for you to make sure that you take note of this. The head that you're cutting, the general rule of thumb for where the head should be while you're cutting, this is extremely important for neutral and natural positioning, is the head needs to be where your heart is. So now, if I stand right here, I say this is about a little above my heart. This is a little too high. I'm focusing a little too high. I probably want my arm to drop a little bit. So I'm gonna position this a little lower. It's probably a little too low now. You know what I'm saying? How is this? This is okay. The head is right by my heart position, which means this is the base. Your base is, where is the head gonna be, right? So now that the head is here, it's where my arm is gonna be. It's neutral, it's natural. Make sure my arm is natural here, because if it's don't here, then not only is my arm gonna be weird, but I'm gonna be looking weird. Make adjustments, make all the adjustments to accommodate your body. Don't allow the client to just sit there and then you're doing all this, you're doing the matrix around them and all that, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you're natural. You need to tilt the head a little bit, tell them to turn their head just slightly so you can see it, and then you use a clipper. This is natural, no strain, no nothing, right? So now we have a magic clip. Right? What we do with the magic clip essentially is put it in our hands. What you're doing with the clipper determines how you hold it. What part of the head you're at determines how you hold it. So neutral position, fading position, side of the head, you hold it this way. You have your hand like this, and I typically put the clipper sideways like this, and boom, it's in my hands, and that's natural. It's a natural positioning. I'd probably make a fist. You basically make a fist with the clipper in your hand. I rest my thumb on the You know, where this thumb piece is, I can do it like that. Or, you know, that's pretty much the neutral position when you're on the side of the head. Now your clipper is on the side of the head. Boom. This is the natural way that you hold your clipper. And if you need any adjustments, if you feel like you can't see, you tell them to turn. If you feel like they're turning too much, you pump it up a little bit. Pump it up. Make sure at all times this part of your body is natural. I'm turning. And I'm cutting. Now, that remains constant up until the parietal ridge. From here up. Now, this is straight hair, right? See, I'm working with ethnic hair, and I want to do a high top and say, let's say hair is like standing up on top of here, right? You don't move your hand like this and try and boom, go over the high top, right? You make the adjustments to your body. You don't make your body adjust to whatever you're doing. When you're on the top of the head, boom, watch this movement. You flip up the clipper. You adjust the clipper. So now the clipper's here. Boom. My clipper's adjusted to accommodate my body. Essentially, you want your arm to be the same no matter what, and you adjust the clipper to fit whatever needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? That's it. You adjust the clipper. Nothing with your arm. You shouldn't be, if I want to do the top of the head, I shouldn't be going like this, trying to do the top of the head and then messing up my whole bicep, my whole arm. The clipper needs to change its position. That's the only thing. It has the adjustable lever, so you should just adjust the clipper. And you want to make sure that this continues to happen and you practice this, because if you don't, you're going to have strains and problems in the future. Now, let me just go back to the side of the head real quick. I forgot to fully belabor this point, where when I'm cutting here and I want to go up, let's put a 2 guard on. I want to go up the side of the head, right? I'm not going to rake through with my arm like this, because it's a lot of energy. I'm using a whole lot of muscles. But here, nothing else is moving. Making sure you're moving natural and all these things makes you look cool too. You know what I'm saying? You look a little crazy if you're raking, going through, like, you think you're doing a lot and all this nip and all the just hairs are just nipping off. You know what I'm saying? After a long time, like your bones or your joints are moving in a certain position that it wasn't made to move in. It doesn't adapt to that thing as much as it destroys your body. Don't move your arm, because then you're gonna get tired and strained and you won't be cutting as long as you'd like. Keep it neutral and move your wrist. And that way, you promote longevity and you don't, kill yourself in the long term, of course. What is the clipper doing? Now, that defines whether it's flush or not, Okay, so in order to define flush, you have to identify what clipper you're using, which blade you're using. Now here, this is a taper blade. It's called a taper blade because it's tapering off at the tip right here, right? Now, this is called a fade blade or a surgical blade. Fade blade because, can't tell you, I don't know why, but it's called a surgical blade because you doing just that, performing surgery. Anybody who's in like tiling or anything, like carpentry, flush is when something is as tight or as close as it can possibly be, right? Same definition applies here. So flush with this blade means this part of the clipper is flush, completely flat with the head, completely flat. And that means whatever this is, whatever no guard open is, at this level, this is the closest that will be, right? And if I close it at this level, this is the closest it will be. And for those who don't know, that this is a lever. No matter which guard you put on, you can put on a 2. Same thing applies too. You gotta flush. This is flush with the 2, right? This is flush with the 3. And all levels are degrees of darkness. That's what I see them as. I see them as overall, I don't really count much the definite amount of hair there is there left. I only care about the darkness. Okay, so at each level, this is the longest at each level. At no guard, this is the longest that you can cut hair with this level. At level 2, this is the longest that you can cut hair at this level. At level 3, this is the longest at this level that you can cut, right? Closed, boom. That is the closest that you could cut at this level. Why does all of this matter? Why does this, in accordance to flush, matter? Because when you go flush, you go close and you go here, and that's the closest that it can go. Which means if you don't do flush and my clipper is not flush, it's kind of released off the head a little bit, then I will not be cutting as much hair, right? If I release the clipper from the head a little bit, let's say about this much, then that is equivalent to say about the lever being going from closed to open and it being flush, right? So why is this important? Because if you know how to get one place multiple different ways, you will not be surprised by a detour and you'll be able to get where you're going no matter what gets in your way. That's why you need to know these different things. So you may think that the only way to cut hair is to continually keep it flush, but it's not. Within hair cutting, there's something called feathering, or when people say flick out, right? So if this is flush, the more I move it away is the longer it gets. That means I can go from flush and get pretty long, you know? So when you rake, you're moving from flush, and when you get to the line or the line of demarcation or whatever you call it, or however you understand it as, that's how you fade into the next one. I think that's why people get confused between fading and blending. Those are two different things. Guards do not fade between each other. They blend. And if you don't know what that is, leave a comment down below. I'll further explain that. But today's video is just about flush and arm positioning. With this taper blade, flush is the closest that this blade can get. A lot of people, oh my God, why is the clipper not clean? Get over yourself. But anyway, flush with this clipper is the closest that it can get. So there's this part of the clipper, this side, and then there's the flatter part closer to the blades. A lot of people are cutting hair like this, but this is the closest that this blade gets. So if I'm by this mannequin right here and I'm cutting and I have this part, I'm doing it like this and there's a little bit off of the head. That's how I'm gonna do it here. Now, why is any of this important? Because if you change just slightly, your fade can be inconsistent, just slightly. So at all times of your fade, you need to have foot control. That's what all of this is. This lever, guards, shears. A guard is a good way to tell you of where you were. There were no guards sometimes. So imagine getting lost in a fade when you have markers. Imagine when you didn't have markers. And I feel like a lot of the time we get lost because we're too dependent on staying within these parameters. You need to fully understand at the end of the day, a fade is a fade and you're trying to make it gradually go up. Guards, guides, lines of demarcation, all these settings, the different blades, they all are supposed to aid you in fading. They're not supposed to cripple you or make a crutch for you so you don't know what you're doing, you know? That's what this channel is here for, here to help. If you have any more questions or anything you would want me to further explain, leave it down below. Hopefully I answered Diamond's question. Thanks for watching today's video. See you guys in the next one.